stage run together. Within hours, either his dream would come true, or 5 years' dreaming, sacrifice, and work would vanish like a rolling tumbleweed. Bent snorted. "You hear what I said?" The younger man turned his gray eyes on Bent. "We haven't even met these folks yet. Don't you reckon you just might be jumping to conclusions?" The old man shook his head emphatically. "It don't take no conclusion for me to remember it was them Mormons what massacred all them settlers up in Utah country 10, 12 years back. 140 of them poor folks slaughtered like hogs. Men, women, and children." He snorted again and shook his head at the sprawling community below. "You know Mormons don't cotton to outsiders. They want to be by themselves. What guarantee you got that them down there won't do the same to us as them others?" With a faint grin on his weather-browned face, Slade studied his old friend. Over their years together on Bill Harnden's stage line, the young half-breed had come to realize that Bent was one to ride the river with. Though the old man was cantankerous and sometimes hot-headed, Slade had never taken his partner's fears lightly. He shook his head. "Nothing's guaranteed, Bent." He hooked a thumb across the valley. "That's why Nana's with us." Bent looked in the direction Slade indicated. On the far rim, a dark figure sat motionless on a small pony. The figure was Nana, Slade's Apache brother. Although Bent had fought Apaches ever since he was a button, over the past few years he had reached an understanding with Nana. He admired the young warrior's courage as much as his devotion to Slade. Buska, as the Apaches called him. But of course, the old man would never admit having any such human feelings as admiration for an Apache. He groused. "One set of extra eyes ain't much of a comfort." Slade pulled his hat down on his forehead. He squinted over his shoulder into the setting sun. That drifter back on the staked plains still nagged at him. "Maybe not, but if I had my choice of any pair of eyes, it would be Nana's." "All I can say," Bent added, scratching his grizzled jaw, "is that old Bill should have sent a couple gunnies with us. I sure as shootin' wouldn't have complained about that at all." Slade's smile broadened into a grin, splitting his dark face like a new moon. "Now, Bent, you not complain? I reckon that's kind of hard for me to picture. Why, you know yourself you got a natural, God-given talent for finding something to fuss over," he said. "And if you can't find a reason, you usually make one up." Bent stared at Slade, trying to maintain the frown on his craggy face. But the infectious smile on the young half-breed's face broke through his resolution. He snorted and jerked his bay around. "Go to hell," he said gruffly, kicking his heels into his dun's flanks and sending the animal skittering down the slope into the darkening valley. Slade laughed and followed. Across the valley, Nana disappeared into a grove of cottonwoods. As they approached the small village, Bent muttered, "Women being what they is, how do you reckon these old boys put up with more than one wife?" Chapter 2. In the blacksmith shop, Joseph Ware paused to squint into the setting sun at the two figures approaching on horseback. He laid his 3-pound cross-peen hammer on the anvil and brushed the layer of coal dust off his muscular forearms. Travelers were uncommon to New Gideon, since the village lay far off the western trails. He glanced over his shoulder at his wife, who had come to stand in the doorway of the neat frame house next to his shop.